analysis. And looking at this, we've already talked about DNA, and we talked about where DNA is and what DNA has to do with the whole cell cycle process. And then throughout the cell cycle, there's something called mitosis. What is mitosis? I'm sorry, why wouldn't y'all be answering my question right now? Number one, you talked about it several times. We played a game on it, and you took notes. So, yeah. Thank you for getting your notes out like a 10th grader. We had this conversation yesterday, Alex. It is the process where the cell begins to divide. The final process where it actually divides is called what? Cytokinesis. So we talked about all that. Yesterday we played the game, and then last week we played the game together where you had clay and you were dividing your cells. You were going through a process simulating what the body does when it goes through the process of the cell cycle. Why does the body go through the process of, well, let me back up. The process goes through the body goes through the process of the cell cycle automatically when it is necessary. The fact that it goes through this process when it is necessary is what kind of mechanism? Feedback mechanism. Good. Why would be the reason? What would be the reasons why the body goes through the cell cycle process? Alice, give me one. Growth, repair, and replacement. Your body's gonna, automatically go through these. Now in the game, we looked at the liver cell, the skin cell, the nerve cell, and blood cells. And throughout the process of that, we noticed that all of your cells go through a process of the cell cycle, with the exception of what cell?
Nerve.
The nerve cell very rarely or never goes through that process. With that being said, we also played the game and realized sometimes the body cells go through a unfortunate situation where they start to duplicate uncontrollably and your body doesn't need new cells. What is that called when your cells start to duplicate uncontrollably although your body doesn't need it? Say a lot of cancer. That is an overgrowth of cells. And it's going to go through that process of the cell cycle. It's going to duplicate itself. Now they're duplicating cells that are not needed. That's cancer, an overgrowth of cells. Now if that cell is damaged and the body does not destroy it, which your body does all the time when damaged cells to protect you, but if that damaged cell goes through the cell cycle, the new cells that are produced are going to be what? Damaged cells. And those new cells are going to be damaged cells. And we realize that oftentimes that process is going to continue. You saw in the game that says go back to mitosis and split up, go back to mitosis and split up. That is cancer. So we looked at cancer cells as well. Okay, wait a minute. All right. So on today, you are going to do a cell cycle analysis, which is going to analyze all the information that we've talked about thus far for the cell cycle, and mitosis, which is included in the cell cycle, and cytokinesis, which is included in the cell cycle. Remember the two phases, G1 and G2 phase, before it gets to mitosis and go to cytokinesis, and then it continues. Now, in front of you, what you have is a packet that looks like this. This packet starts off with giving you some information about cancer. It says the cancer case study. So it gives you information about cancer. Why? Because that is the largest growing or the fastest growing disease in the United States. And it is the replication or duplication of cells. So your body's going to automatically do this. And if it's a cancerous cell, that's a problem. But with me giving you this information, am I just giving it to you because it's scientific and it's science class and we're talking about cells, so I might as well just give you something about cells? So why would I be giving you this important information?
Can you tell us how to prevent it?
So you can take preventative measures. Now, not all the time. Cancer is not always prevented. However, none of us in here wants to get it. Everybody in here probably at least knows one person or knows somebody who has cancer. It is a deadly disease and it's serious. So this information is informative information for you to have. You will, however, be assessed on analyzing this information and linking it to what we've learned, because I told you in the very beginning, I don't just teach science, I teach life. So this is going to be a life learned lesson. With that being said, when you go through your pages, you will also see information on the third page, it didn't put both of that on there, but on your third page, you have another half. The top box is more cancer information, and the bottom box looks like this. These are the 4 plus 5 cells that we talked about, the 4 being liver, blood, skin, and nerve, and then the 5th one being a cancerous cell, if one of those cells turns into a cancerous cell. You're going to utilize all of this information and your knowledge from our notes to make sure that you are answering your questions. Now, the questions are located on the back. Yours looks a little bit different than this because I did change some information, but when you actually see the questions, where I'm going to direct you to see them, you will see these questions. But I want you to just look at them for a minute. The first one says, of the cell types you've investigated, the ones that you've investigated are the ones from the game: liver, nerve, skin, blood, and cancer cells. You're going to say, which ones are most likely to divide frequently, occasionally, or as needed, never or almost never, and more frequently than normal and without control. Now, with this packet, it is yours to keep. It is not a page in your binder, but it is informative information for you to keep so you can write on it, but you will not be submitting it this way. The second question I've changed up some because we did not specifically go into details about the protein called cyclin. However, it is the protein that came up in the game, and it is a protein that is used so that it helps regulate the cell cycle process. Depending on the amount of protein that has to be regulated so that the cell cycle process can happen. But I want you to tell me from your cell cycle notes what else needs to start, what else needs to happen to initiate the cell cycle process. All the other questions are self-explanatory from your packet that you're looking at and from your notes about the cell cycle. Any questions about this packet thus far? Okay, then in submitting it, in Canvas, you are going to open up the assignment called Cell Cycle Analysis. When you open it up, it is going to have the instructions. I'm going to go over these instructions with you really quickly. Please pay attention to the instructions and reread them when you get in there, because I don't want to have to repeat this because it is self-explanatory here. But when you go in, you are going to copy and paste the questions below. You are either going to paste them in Canvas if that's where you're going to choose to submit your assignment. If you like working in a Word document because maybe you don't have internet at home and you want to continue typing your answers there, you can paste it in a Word document and work there. Or if you like working in Google Docs, you can copy and paste it in Google Docs. But if you don't have a computer or a internet connection at home, then you are going to write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Got it so far? All right. Step 2, if you are typing it in Canvas, Google Docs, or Word document, then you are going to type your answers underneath the questions that you've copied and pasted. That makes sense? All right. From there, when you're submitting it, you are going to press Submit in Canvas if you've done it in Canvas. Remember, if you close it out, you can always resume later. If you did it in a Word document, then you'll click Upload, and it will submit it there. Calm down. If you did it in a Google Doc, then you'll submit the Google Doc by sharing it with me right from Canvas. You don't go to the Google Doc, you go to Canvas, and everything is done from Canvas. Or if you've written it out because you didn't have computer access or a computer at home or internet, you will write it out, but then when you get to school tomorrow morning, when you get here early, you get a computer, you take a picture of it, you log into Canvas, and you upload that picture right into Canvas, from Canvas. Does that make sense? All right. You will be working on it in class. Now, what I said was on your paper, the questions look a little bit different than what I showed you, but here are the exact questions in Canvas of what you should be answering. Again, you can write on the packet, highlight the packet if you so choose. Any questions about what it is that you are doing today? Okay, then your assignment is due at 8:30 tomorrow morning, but you do have the entire class to work now. Now